FIFA 20, the lockdown FIFA. And you can tell because I've clocked over 1,000 hours on this game. Yes, I was a madman. Yes, I didn't go outside or talk to women. But that's what makes these retro FIFAs even better, because I've made more memories with it, I've got more to reminisce on, and here we are, entering what feels like a brand new era, or what it did at the time, because we had a brand new cover star, a brand new color theme, and a brand new game mode to sink our teeth into, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Am I allowed to feel nostalgic for FIFA 20? Like, we're kind of entering that realm of retro FIFA, where it feels like it was just yesterday, but at the same time, when you deep it was released in 2019. Yes, 5 years ago. However, we get the same cute pop-up message from FIFA 19 thanking us for playing because the servers got shut down back in November. So unfortunately, just like FIFA 19, we can't really explore the online realm or any of the online features this game had to offer. But we've loaded up into the menus, and if FIFA 19 loved a bit of blue, this game was married to the color pink and grey, because that's all you saw in the menus. That was pretty much the entire background. And straight off the jump, this is where I transitioned from being on console to switching back to PC on FIFA, and already the menus feel so much more snappier. The load times and responsiveness is top tier, and I forgot that Jay Lings was in the menu. When did he become a cover star athlete? But today, just like in every other deep dive and retrospective for these old games, we're gonna take a look at everything it had to offer, what we loved, what we hated, and everything in between. All the new features and minor details that you might have missed or forgotten about. And of course, the underappreciated banging soundtrack, because what would one of these retro FIFA vids be without the soundtrack analysis? I know that's what you lot come here for, but first thing we've got to do is check out the practice arena, and this is where these games kind of lose me. Everything after FIFA 19, the practice arena was just dead. It was the exact same environment, the exact same things you could do. You only had one option of being one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Why is Mbappe playing for Paris FC? I've done something. The last time I was on FIFA 20, this might have been the aftermath of one of my crazy experiments back in the day, but something's wrong with my squads. Nevertheless, this practice arena, like FIFA 19, there was nothing added to it. There was nothing special about it. You could practice free kicks, again, with no wall, so it was pretty much rendered useless. There was a little bit of a newer system, because you could aim with that circle with all the free kicks and set pieces. I've got like the smallest goalkeeper in the game in net, and I'm trying to score a goal with this set piece feature, and it's just not happening. It actually feels a lot smoother than I remember, like the gameplay and the running, but that could be because I'm using like a 95 rated Mbappe. But let's try and get one of these free kicks in, and it's just not happening. Come on, Mbappe, just go for power. Top left corner. Let's sink one of these in, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. All right, did the penalty system change? Yeah, everything pretty much changed in FIFA 20 when it came to set pieces and dead ball situations. Let's try and go top left with Kylian and oh, that was a vicious pen, and I like the changes it made in that regard, but these free kicks are pretty much impossible to nail. Big skill gap here. Let's try and nail this one down. Mbappe, nah, I don't. This is why I didn't become a pro FIFA player, because I can't even nail simple free kicks without a wall. That was just terrible. Why are free kicks so hard in this game? Is it me? Am I the problem? Nah, make it a tradition with every one of these retrospectives. We've got to try it out in the practice arena with the cover star himself, Eden Hazard, before he went on to retire only 3 years later. Yeah, this was that time period where everyone thought Eden was going to become that new Galactico. He outgrew Chelsea, and Florentino Perez dropped the cool like 100 million on him, but a new free kick style from Hazard there. Again, there was barely anything you could do in these modern day practice arenas, but it's the type of game mode and type of free roam experience that you can get lost in for hours. And to think that this iconic staple of a feature wouldn't change until like 5 iterations of the game later. Like back in the day, we could have had like different backgrounds, new environments, practice matches, creating set pieces, all in the OG practice arena, and then it just got dwindled down to a random training park from the journey, an unused asset that got recycled, and then we were left with it up until FC 24. It doesn't stop you experimenting and playing around with it though. That's one thing. The practice arena is just forever goated. No matter what form it comes in, listening to the soundtrack in the background, scoring some crazy goals, thinking that you're an absolute baller. But again, this, like many other features in FIFA 20, left a lot to be desired. It's going to take me like 5,000 goes to get this in, isn't it? Well, we're going to be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Nah, bro. I'm rage quitting already. Get me out of here. Taking a look at all the other options you had on the main menu, the Champions League license and that new tournament feature made a return with all the updated teams and group stages. I was going to say all the updated teams, but there are some that aren't in this actual game. Like, I remember there was a Hungarian team. Like, this Norwegian club definitely wasn't in the Champions League, but they replaced like an actual real life team that wasn't in FIFA. So it wasn't 100% authentic. It was like 99.9. This was the year that famous Piemonte Calcio made their debut and everyone lost their minds. One of the first big teams that Konami/PES poached at the time. They got the PES treatment, completely unlicensed, unbranded, fake badge, fake name, fake kits. Juve got completely done dirty, and it was only 1 year after one of the biggest players in the world joined the team. This is what they got. This is the kind of treatment they got. I swear that was like a solid meme for 2 months. It had a chokehold on everyone, but every time you loaded up the Champions League, either in career mode or tournament, it would just give more random teams to replace the ones that EA didn't have the licenses to. But another cool feature you could do was just completely randomize the Champions League and get random results, random group stage draws of all teams of all calibers. It was just a fun little experimental feature that they added in there, which I can appreciate. However, another big licensing scoop that EA managed to swindle was the CONMEBOL Copa Libertadores and the other 2 subsequent competitions. The Sudamericana, I believe, so both the Champions League and the Europa League of South America were in the game. All the biggest teams in South America competing for one of the most famous trophies in world football, and it was about time. And this felt like a whole new experience in its entirety because it never have been in the game before. I feel like it was a Konami PES exclusive for so long, and then finally EA managed to win back a couple of the licensing wars after that major Juventus L, and they also were missing out on Serie B at the time, so there was a bit of back and forth. The licensing wars were still rearing their ugly head back before PES turned into eFootball. And I remember thinking this theme, this overlay was so hard. Like the gold on black, that is just my kryptonite. I also used to think like this space and galactic overlay, this menu theme that the Sudamericana had was also cold. Like the South American competitions and teams were officially licensed, they came in and it was kind of a big deal. Now the servers are offline, so we can't go ahead and download the latest squads. We're stuck with the default squads that you got at the start of the game cycle, so that's kind of a bit of a letdown. However, it was actually a Euros year, and at the time, PES still hold the license. Konami had their own little free DLC, and they had their own tournament mode Euro experience, but here at least we had like a decent selection of national teams. I think it was at least over 30. You had Greece, Hungary, Iceland, India even in there. There was enough to make a solid World Cup and an actual functioning international scene in career mode, unlike what we have today. So anything besides FC24 is an absolute W because we still have so many more teams, so many more nations, and of course, as we all know, the Corona, the Coco, delayed the European Championships until 2021, where my nation, Italia, pulled off the impossible, baby. Oh, what a day, what a moment, what a morning I had. I had to celebrate it in lockdown, but it still hit hard, and we kind of did it with a similar team you can see here. Obviously, Chiesa had another year under his belt. We still were relying on Immobile up front. Insigne was in his prime, at his peak. Bernardeschi, I don't even know who we had on the right there. Chiellini, oh, where's Chiellini? Not even called up to the national team, but he was playing over at Cherby 1000%. And then this back line, I don't know how we won with that back line. However, Gigio Donnarumma was the keeper that won us the tournament, won us the final in the penalty shootout. And to think that he was only 21 at the time, damn, it feels like he's been around forever. Oh, this Dortmund side, they still had Marco Reus in his prime. Haaland just joined fresh up front. Jadon Sancho on the right beside him. The season before they signed Bellingham, Gio Reyna's only a 63 rated 17-year-old wonder kid with no face scan, and everyone always comments that I look like Emre Can, but I don't see it. Let me know who my football doppelganger is in the comments, because me and Emre, we get a lot of comparisons, but yeah, I don't know, there can't just be one player that looks like me. There's got to be someone else out there. Bayern, what the hell happened to this Bayern side? Bayern had Lewandowski, Muller, Gnabry up front. This was the year they won the Champions League, actually. So this was the European champions of this season. I think this was when they destroyed Barcelona 8-2. Correct me if I'm wrong. Coutinho on the bench on a loan spell, scoring against his parent club. I don't know how they did it with Jerome Boateng at the back. Surely he wasn't playing. This was Davies' rookie year in the Bundesliga. He made the transition from the MLS. Kimmich, Thiago, and Goretzka in midfield is absolutely saucy. Oh, that's right, 2020, the year that Lewandowski was robbed of the Ballon d'Or, and I won't hear otherwise. He was on fire. He was one of the best players in the world when he decided to actually start scoring goals and stop doing TikTok dances.
I pull up, step in the kitchen, let's go. Brand new Lamborghini, a cop car.
He was a different beast. You had Arsenal still rocking with Ozil on the decline. They just signed, oh my god, an £80 million Nicolas Pepe starting on the right. This was like prime Arsenal lockdown banter era with David Luiz and Mustafi at the back. If you want a good laugh, watch these two defensive highlights in this season. I mean, comical. Oh, young Emi Martinez. Oh, not young. He was 27 here, but only 75 rated. If Neil Maupay never injured Leno, I don't think Messi would have won that World Cup. I don't know. I'm just saying. Oh, this was Aston Villa just promoted to the Premier League. Brighton were doing their thing. Chelsea had Abraham, Mason Mount. This was when they were under Frank Lampard as well. All these eras are just flowing back. Lockdown football was something else. And this was Carlo Ancelotti at Everton, surely. I swear James Rodriguez was in this team. Where's he gone? I think this was a Leicester FA Cup winning team. They had the likes of Vardy still in his prime, Tielemans, Ndidi, and Maddison running the midfield. Is this the Liverpool that won the No, this was the Liverpool that won the Premier League. Damn, remember when we called for it to be null and void because no one wanted Liverpool winning the league? Yeah, I mean, Mane and Salah both 90 rated. Firmino an 88. This side was just unfair. Prime Van Dijk contending for the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, it's a season I want to forget. Well, yeah, especially Man City too had a bloody brilliant team. Yeah, it's a season I want to forget. I don't want to be reminded of it. Man City had Fernandinho at centre back. They could get away with that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, we signed Harry Maguire for like £80 million. At least Bruno Fernandes had a solid debut campaign. I believe he signed in January. But the only positive that came out of this season was Bruno signing in January. Like, that was the only bright sparking light, and Greenwood emerging onto the scene, but we all know what happened there. Oh, Norwich and Sheffield were in the Premier League. We had Fulham in the Championship. Leeds were fighting their way up in their promotion season. You had Luton making their way up and crawling through the Football League. Middlesbrough. Who else was here? Nottingham Forest, who were current day Premier League outfit. I think this was the first game that had Salford City. Yeah, the class of 92 owned club. I remember they were a classic career mode RTG favorite for everyone to use. You can't think of FIFA 20 without thinking of this one player, and that one player is Ben Yedder. Yes, I wanted everyone, especially not just on the Ultimate Team online sphere, but in career mode too. This guy was an absolute gun. I think people still have nightmares to this day of what a prime Ben Yedder could do to your defense. He was something else, and oh my god, this is a Streets will never forget strike combo. Lille had both Victor Osimhen and a 33-year-old Loic Remy leading the line for them up top, not to mention Renato Sanchez, the failed wonder kid of the time. Jonathan Ikone, Bamba on the left. I think, did they win the league this season? Oh, Gabriel's here too. I think this was the season prior, but you can see what they were cooking. They were building something special, and then you've got the likes of PSG with an absolutely star-studded team, of course. How could you forget? Mbappe and Neymar up front, Icardi, Di Maria. You could smell the oil money dripping off that team. You had Brescia's return to Serie A. Did a RTG career mode series with them. If you know, you know. Who else we had? Oh, we had Parma's return when they went from Serie D to Serie A. They were coming off a triple promotion back to the top flight. Oh, Messi, Suarez and Griezmann up front for Barcelona. This was when, yeah, Messi's probably his last season to win the Champions League, but they failed, they fumbled. And they had a lot of financial issues that year. I remember as Real Madrid just walked away with the title. Still, a young Vinny Jr. in there only at 79. He had Benzema up front, Bale before he retired, and it was just Varane and Ramos, their last big season together too. Oh, I remember when everyone thought Luka Jovic was going to be the next big thing. I swear he was a one-season wonder at Frankfurt. A young Rodrigo to come in off the bench. Valverde still finding his feet on the subs, and Isco Disco in there. Oh, here's James Rodriguez. I don't know why he's not at Everton, but I think at the default squads, he's still at Real Madrid for some reason. But Prime Hazard on the bench too. He was just injured throughout this entire campaign. So let me know, season 19-20. Did you have some happy memories? Did you have some sad memories? And I'm trying to find like a team that everyone's forgotten about. This Ajax team got picked apart after they made that miracle run to the UCL semis. No De Ligt. Gullit, no De Jong, and they were left with, I mean, a pretty decent outfit, but eventually all these players would leave. I mean, Promes would leave to a prison cell, but the rest of them had decent footballing careers. Every single player here is gone, besides Julian Alvarez. Oh my god, they had Onana. Oh, Van der Beek back before United ruined him. Gravenberch on the bench. You can do this all day, just looking through old players and old teams. I'm trying not to get lost in the sauce. Who is in the rest of the world? Oh, you still had the Adidas All-Stars, MLS All-Stars. Back when Ibrahimovic was in the MLS, Rooney was at DC United, I think. They had Nani in there, Carlos Vela at LAFC. Oh man, this is a moment in time for sure. There are only a couple of things that the servers can't take from us and that we can forever latch onto, and those are the rosters, but also all the sights and sounds that this game had to offer, and that includes our favorite segment. It's the soundtrack. Yeah, you thought I had enough of glazing every single retro FIFA soundtrack? Well, that's where you're wrong. Because the gushing doesn't stop when it comes to classic, retro, nostalgic FIFA tunes. And that's what this soundtrack had in abundance. I feel like at this point, people had already written off the soundtrack. A lot of players just muted it the second they got into the game and played their own music in the background. However, for the few that actually play the game the way it's intended and actually have a little bit of culture about them, a lot of the tunes that you see here actually stuck with people and soundtracked their lockdown, making us long for the outside world and for football to eventually make a return. Because trust me, at the time, I think the whole world needed a distraction, and FIFA 20 had some crazy party tunes, some anthems, some classic FIFA songs, some slappers that kept us entertained and wanting to dance the night away while signing your favorite player or just balling out in the practice arena. Literally, whatever you were doing, there was a song for that activity. And for the first time in FIFA history, there were actually two different soundtracks. Yes, that's right, you have the main game soundtrack, and then Volta had its own exclusive soundtrack with kind of different type of songs, more energy. They had a little bit more electronic vibes to them. They were a bit more high pace and suited the kind of street football, high pace, high energy style of play that, you know, street football and five-a-side futsal brings. So they'll try to encapsulate a new sound with the new game mode, but I'm not all too familiar with that because I barely ever played Volta. We'll elaborate more on my experience once we explore the mode, but yeah, this was actually quite groundbreaking. For the first time, there were, depending on what mode you were playing, you had two different sets of songs to embrace you. I didn't really know how to feel about it, but you know, I just stuck with my guns and listened to the classic main game songs that would play whilst I was on the couch versing some mates or playing career mode. And I believe in FIFA 21 there was actually a setting you could change where you could have both the main game songs and the Volta songs play in the background, but that feature didn't come until later. These songs, they definitely reminded me of the times right before COVID, those golden few months, the back end of 2019, where everything was alive and well in the world and everything felt like it was going to plan, but they also remind me of times just locked inside doing nothing. Nevertheless, I'll spin you guys some of my favorites and let me know down below what ones bring back the most memories and which songs you just completely forgot about. Because trust me, I know there were some sleepers on this soundtrack.
Somos dos cantantes como los de antes. El respeto es en boletos y diamantes. When it all comes rushing back, rushing back. We'll always stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. We'll always hurt you so hard. This is fire.
Erase my social. Screenshot coming. Okay.
Talk about how we used to get together sometimes.
feel like I'm in love with the pain, fam, cause it's the same old story.
Now I hope you've recovered after rediscovering some FIFA bangers you forgot existed. But now it's time to take a look into the brand new feature that FIFA 20 had to boast about. It was all the rage, it was all the hype, and all the marketing surrounded it. It was Volta, and don't tell me I need to be connected to the service to access it. No way. I swear there was an offline game mode in Volta. Are you serious? I mean, people hated the journey, but at least you could play that offline and not need the EA servers to access it. This is why I hate live service gaming. Just make it so we can play offline. What are you thinking? You're not that guy, Volta. Trust me, you're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So much for replacing the journey, because so far it's done a terrible job. And the only way we can play somewhat of a version of Volta football is to play it through kickoff, to play it with the Volta single match or Volta house rules. Like, I remember there being a major online component to Volta, but I swear there was an offline section, like an offline story mode that I wanted to revisit, where it's like a cutscene, you and Vinicius Jr., you're following him throughout a scrapyard in Brazil or something, and there was a choice, like there was that offline story mode and like where you could play online and level up your pro. But the big controversy was that you couldn't play with friends online, so that kind of just killed the game mode from the jump. Alright, we'll get a taste of Volta football. You got the classic futsal mode, 5v5, 4v4, 4v4 rush, 3v3 rush. I don't know what the difference is. I just want to play some classic football, but this kind of like indoor Volta was like a FIFA Street replacement at the time. They were trying to bring back FIFA Street without bringing back FIFA Street, if you know what I mean. They kind of like unintentionally killed FIFA Street by bringing back Volta. But if we are going to get a taste of it, there's only two nations we can do. Argentina versus Brazil. We're all the best skillers in world football are born South America. And these were kind of, you had new arenas, new stadiums to select from. You had outdoor venues, indoor venues, places, locations from all over the world. We had Rome, Berlin, Barcelona, a warehouse. You could enable walls or no walls, or like various different game modes you could play. But let's go for Buenos Aires. And you had to kind of select your best starting five. This is kind of like the worst Argentina team to pick because there are no skillers in it whatsoever. Where's Messi? Oh, Messi's there. All right, Aguero, Messi, Dybala. We'll go Dybala. Let's just go all out attack. No, we'll have one defensive-minded player in there. And you just got thrown into it like that. You had different kind of atmosphere, pyrotechnics in the background. It all had that FIFA 20 Volta branding around it. And this was kind of like the new match day lineups, like the 5v5. All the teams would line up and kind of like group together, cross their arms, look kind of intimidating. And one of the main criticisms about it was that it just felt like you were playing FIFA 20, but in like a small confined space, like a corridor. It didn't feel like classic FIFA Street gameplay when you needed skills to actually progress, and you needed skills to build up your meter and build up your flair and work towards like crazy power-ups or anything. Like, as you can see here, you can literally just play normal FIFA without doing any skill moves whatsoever and still be successful. Like, you could just pass your way to glory. Like, there was no emphasis on the skills. Yes, you had a nice few little animations that were cool, like the flick up corner, but other than that, in its first season, this is probably the worst iteration of Volta. So the first edition of the brand new game mode didn't really have much to be desired about. Like, it was extremely criticized as soon as it came out, and the gameplay didn't really do it any favors. Like, there is no benefit of you doing skill moves whatsoever. Like, Brazil, they're known as a flary team. They don't have Neymar, but they're still known to be like a flary team. They pull out a few 5-star skillers every now and then, but they just haven't done one whatsoever. The CPU play like you're playing a normal game of football. Besides like the random flick pass here and there, they're playing extremely safe. And this was like the main criticism about the entire experience, because I want to face like a full team of Ronaldinhos or something and just get skilled off the park. Like look at Messi here. We can try and do some skills, but nothing actually happened. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Oh, it was a major letdown, a big disappointment, and especially because this was one of the main few selling features or selling points of the game. It was a complete letdown, and Messi, why does he... I want to go for a bicycle kick. I don't know. Did you guys play Volta too much? I definitely barely touched it. I only like experimented around with it just to see what it was about, but not many people that I know of touched this game mode whatsoever. There wasn't much it really offered as... Oh, I wanted to go for the bicycle. That's got to hurt on a hard surface though. To dribble his way through, and this unlicensed Brazil team, why are the goals so small? Like, there was no reason for you to actually express yourself or do a skill goal or do a fancy goal, because the skills and showing off just didn't mean anything. And it's like the complete opposite way of playing than what OG FIFA Street used to be. Now, there was a story mode and online components attached to it, but that's pretty much rendered useless nowadays because it doesn't even exist anymore. You can't access it. If this is what you have to remember FIFA 20 Volta by, you know, it doesn't leave behind a very strong legacy in my opinion. With Messi now, let's try and get a skill goal. I've at least got to score one. Aguero. Let's pop one from distance with Dybala. I'm gonna Messi. I'm gonna Messi. I'm gonna Messi. I'm gonna Messi. Why is this game so hard? I've literally got it on professional difficulty. I hate to admit that, but for some reason, it's impossible to score in Volta. Okay, the CPU have done it for me. And then there were like decent little celebrations you could do. Nice little cutscenes that were like Volta exclusive. I'm gonna Messi. I'm gonna Messi. I'm gonna Messi. Oh, good read. Messi in the one-man wall. Let's see what he can do. Chips it over the top. Oh, Brazil is just showing off now. They took what I said and took it personally. Here we go. Leandro Paredes. Surely. Squares to Dybala. Stop trying. Why are they trying so hard, man? It's like a friendly. Just show off your skills. Like, I swear they're parking the bus on purpose. All right, here we go. Aguero's just going to have to run through everyone. Aguero. Last minute chance to equalize. It is Kun Aguero. Oh, Messi, that would have hurt. Sliding on concrete, not the best idea. And, yeah, we'll gracefully lose humbly, in peace. But it added a nice little different side game element to FIFA, but it didn't have the desired impact I think EA wanted it to. And they would go on to like improve it, add more game modes, add more arenas and different features to it. But FIFA 20 Volta was absolutely forgettable and a complete flop. And I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking that, but one nice little fun fact I want to throw in there is that if you actually play Volta in the London arena, in this London little street stadium we got going on, you actually hear the voice of Troops in the background. Yes, the Arsenal fan TV legend.
You're a cheat! You're a fucking cheat! You're a dirty cheat! Look what you're doing! Look what you're doing! You prick, you're a cheat!
The certified meme himself, yeah, you can hear him commentating and shouting chants in the back. It is actually a nice, cool little Easter egg and something that made the headlines back in the day, but I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about it. I feel like this 3v3 mode, it's a lot more free. Like there's less players, there's more room, and there's no goalkeepers, so it's easier to score. And you had different kind of celebrations, like the phone crowd reaction celebrations, which is kind of cool. It definitely had its own vibe and certain little characteristics about it that made it feel like it was different from FIFA, but the gameplay didn't really live up to it, and of course felt like you're playing FIFA in a confined space, which is never a good feeling. Like, I just want to spam skill moves and have fun with it. Rebound off the wall. Oh, I like getting the wall involved. Like, there was cool little features to experiment with, but nothing that was actually going to make you play for longer than an hour. Like, the CPU would never like just start doing random skill moves on you. They'd only do like flare shots and flare passes. Why is Mesut Ozil back defending? Lad, just get up the field. Nice little skill. Ball over the top. Nice through ball. Saka. Lucas was a goalkeeper. Oh my god, that was terrible. Ozil, mate. Saka is going to 360 no-scope off the wall. Why did he stop? Why did he stop and watch his cross come off the wall and out? Maybe I'm just bad at Volta. Maybe I'm just bad at FIFA in general. It's like me trying to have fun, skill move around and like play Volta the way it's intended. And then the CPU actually taking it seriously and playing it like it's the Champions League final. Like, no expression, no use of the wall, nothing. Nothing. And now we're 4-0 down. Beautiful. Oh. Nicholas Pepe. You've got Dele Alli celebrating on us. That's how you know things are bad. And I'm sure Troops is having an absolute meltdown in the commentary box. Ah, come on. I gotta score one goal. I can't leave Volta. Oh my god. Dele Alli is pulling out the Rabona passes. The no-look flicks. Okay, I'm actually getting done. I'm getting done dirty. Oh my god. Saka, what a save. Alright, come on, Ozil. Oh, no. Come on. At least one goal. Don't skill move into him. Oh, come on, Nicholas Pepe got fouled, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. Come on, score. Score. Finally, we have a goal. Thank the Lord. And Nicolas Pepe, just for that alone, you were worth every single cent. What I did like about Volta though is that it would actually play the exclusive Volta soundtrack and songs in the background whilst you were playing like on the streets. It felt like someone just bought a speaker to the pickup game and was playing some bangers in the background. It was a cool little touch, kind of like how you hear the main soundtrack when you're in the practice arena. And you can get why they went for a completely different sound because, you know, this is just a completely different environment, a completely different vibe. Off the wall. Off the wall, yes, let's use the wall to our advantage. Cuts back. Ozil, nice little flick pass. Saka, nice little flick pass. Let's flick pass again. Just too good. It's just flick past the glory at the moment. All right, that's enough for now. FIFA 20 Volta, we won't miss you. Now, if you're wondering where the majority of those 1,000+ hours went, no, it wasn't Volta. It was definitely career mode, and boy, it had a lot to live up to after FIFA 19's disaster class. We were fresh off no new features besides the Champions League and 4 save slots only, but thank the Lord, they actually increased the limit to the save slots. And I think you could have 8 on console, but because I was on PC, I just did the glitch where you could get multiple and I just had pretty much unlimited save slots to my disposal. I was feeling like a god. I had all the PC power and I didn't even know it. Yeah, I had 39 save slots because why not? And yeah, I had a lot of video ideas, so I had to put them all into separate files. That's also another reason why I had thousands and thousands of hours on this game, because I was busy recording videos, simulating, and this was actually the last career mode where you had any pre-order bonuses and perks to apply to your saves, so the 60% transfer budget increase, the rematchability, unlocking edit player, and the global transfer network scout are always applied them. And finally, since they were a new feature in FIFA 17, like actually being able to customize your manager, FIFA 20 still gave you some presets, but it was the first time where you could actually customize his look, the hair, the eyes, the outfit, facial features and all that. You actually had a little bit more control about how you looked, and you could actually be a female manager too. I completely forgot about that. Like EA, they had a good feature in this manager customization, but how much has this actually changed throughout the years up until FC 24? Not much. Like, this is all pretty much still the same. You've got like the same old selections. The player customization and manager editor, it received minimal updates throughout the years, and it feels like exactly a copy and paste from FIFA 20. Like, maybe we have a few more accessories and a few more hairstyles, but that's about it. And these outfits, we still have pretty much all of these to select. The only thing we have now in FC 24 is that you could put glasses on your manager. Like, that is the only thing. Like, we still have the same old ties, the same old everything. But hey, it felt new, it felt fresh in FIFA 20. And at the time, I also thought that the customization options were a little bit boring, and after a while, you'd pretty much seen everything because there were not that many things to choose from. To think that you still couldn't play as real managers even though they were in the game until like 3 FIFAs later, yeah, they were really like drip feeding us features. Like, that could have definitely been possible. I'm happy to report that FIFA 20 posted a couple new features in career mode, but at the start, it was pretty much the same. You still had your preseason tournament invites, nothing changed on that front. Visually, I mean, the menus were copy and pasted. It just had the FIFA 20 overlay and color scheme in the backgrounds. You could edit your manager throughout your career save, whether you're 1 season or 10 seasons deep. You could just completely change up your look and your outfit depending on whether it's summer, a Champions League final, you're in the snow. At least it gave you that option, but you still couldn't change your name. Oh, this was the first FIFA that made you actually reply to your players and email them back. You always got the welcome message from the captain. I'm glad Grant Hanley is welcoming me to the club. And you always had these 3 options to choose from, but player morale, oh, this was the first season where that was a major factor because career mode was a broken mess this year. Like, it launched completely broken. Like, it was unplayable. Player morale was so crucial. If a couple of your players submitted transfer requests or your squad morale went down to the red zone, you were in trouble. The players could literally get you fired in this game, and I guess they fixed it to an extent, but it was still very prominent. And player morale, you just had to stay on top of it. You had to always renew your contracts, always reply to player messages to keep the team around, the confidence high. Otherwise, you just have completely poor results. This was before sharpness too, so all you had to focus on was the player morale. And morale's going to be hard to come by if you're a team like Norwich losing every week, especially in the Prem. So it definitely added another layer of man management and an extra feature that sometimes seemed a little bit too over the top. Oh, this was also the debut of league overlays. So I believe it was like the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga actually got their own career mode menu overlay. And it wasn't just for the Champions League and Europa League. However, when you clicked into anything, it just reverted back to the same old FIFA 20 generic menu. So it only had an effect on like the main menu screen and not anything else. So that was kind of a little bit of a buzzkill. And one of the main like 3 or 4 new features in FIFA 20 career mode were the press conferences. And they were always originally in the game, but not in this cutscene format where you had multiple questions, multiple dialogue trees, and of course the paparazzi, the media asking you stuff. But I remember back in the day, it was only like praise, unnerve, and not to attend the press conferences in the calendar. But now this completely changed everything. It was a much highly regarded feature. It was a highly requested feature, I should say, and was a long time coming. But this was also a good way to get your players' morale up. Like, you had to cover all bases. You had to get the contract situation right, the play time, make sure to always praise them and select this option to get the best out of your morale and boost every single player's happiness up. Otherwise, yeah, it wasn't looking good if you dissed your own players in the press conference. That was never a good idea. You just want to see everything green as possible. But again, this is another feature that was added in and has never really been elaborated on further. It's just stayed the same status quo and nothing has really changed about it since its inception. So that's kind of annoying. Now here's where we have a FIFA 20 exclusive. Yes, I know, FIFA 20 actually has a career mode feature that never returns. We had a brand new negotiation cutscene room, and that was like this dark bar, nightclub, skyscraper, rooftop scene. It was something straight out of the Journey, but it never actually returned. Like, it was only in FIFA 20. For some reason, we just have the same old dining room cutscene and the manager's office cutscene now. It just intrigues me so much that they completely removed this, like the nightclub area. It was so cool to see like the city skyline in this dark little gloomy mysterious area. I don't know where they are. 2 managers would never do this out in public, but look at us here with Ajax manager negotiating everything, and they're just loving it. They're living it up in the nightclub. Like, who would let this man into a nightclub? So BCHD is not dressed for the occasion or whatsoever, but something I feel like doesn't get talked about enough is that nightclub area cutscene. Now we're just stuck with this boring old dining room table. I don't want to be in a restaurant negotiating his contract. I want to be back in that poppin' nightclub, baby. This is just too boring for me. It was kind of like that FIFA 18 billboard cutscene in the news title articles. Like, it was just a FIFA 18 exclusive and never came back. So F's in the chat for the nightclub negotiation madness. You will forever be missed and the streets won't forget. And don't you love this old quality of life feature that they decided to remove in FIFA 23? The save button. Yeah, you just press X and you can save your game just like that. You don't have to scroll all the way to the end of the menu. You can save your game with the click of a button. It was so easy, so convenient, and EA just decided to want to make our life harder. No matter where you were, the save button was just a click away on the menus. But something else that didn't change whatsoever was the training feature, and it didn't change until FIFA 21. So it was a year before it had its grand big overhaul. It was literally exactly the same from FIFA 16, and it's a common trend you see throughout this entire franchise. Something good gets added, it's a revolutionary feature, it has its flaws, and it just doesn't get touched upon for a solid like 5-6 years. And then once the noise gets a little bit too loud, they finally actually adjust it and make some decent tweaks to it. The 5-slot training drill, it had its place, it had its time, but it was just admin you had to do. You had to go in and manually simulate it every week, choose your players, choose your drills, and then just rinse, repeat, and recycle week after week. And who remembers this? Only real OGs will remember this like career mode Easter egg that was in the new style cutscenes, and you had an article on the 27th of September 2019 saying that the wait is over. FIFA 20 is available today. I remember seeing this for the first time and thinking it was so cool. Like, I don't know. Oh, it gave you like a full rundown of like the 2 changes that happened in career mode. For the first time, you can customize your manager and actually have player chats and press conferences. There, it did my job for me. I just thought that was a cool little attention to detail. Obviously, it didn't mean much, but it was cool to see that the developers threw that in there. And the Ballon d'Or was in this game, of course, in all its unlicensed glory. The Golden Ball, it just went to Messi every single year in the startup save of the career anyway. He just always won it. He was the favorite in season 1. And again, highlighting another feature that underwent no changes for about 8 years. Yeah, Youth Academy and youth staff were still the same. No squad ranking, no request funds. It was actually just a FIFA 19 reskin with manager customization and player chats. That was about it. I ain't gonna cap, guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. That was pretty much what EA had to offer at the time. And we had our fun in Volta, but now now it's time to experience the real match day live, the career mode offline gameplay, and we were still in the era before the next gen consoles released where we had the skill games to help us load into the match. Oh, we actually did get a major cutscene before the game, but we also had the match day lineups and the players coming out of the tunnel. It was the full broadcast package, the full experience where we had the new updated Premier League graphics, manager faces there in the background. I can see Klopp. Oh, was this the first game without Martin Tyler and Alan Smith? I don't know. Maybe that was FIFA 22, but this was one of the last FIFA installments where you could hear the iconic commentary duo. And now it's time to see how bad I am and how badly the gameplay has aged, if at all. Why did I decide to be like one of the worst teams in Premier League history and versing the Champions League winners of that year? Why do I do this to myself? I'm putting myself through torture here, but again, like FIFA 19, why does the grass and pitch, the turf, just look so much better, so much greener and lifelike? It's such a small change, but I just don't understand it. It seems like it's gone backwards in recent years, but that's just me. Here's the channel you go to for small little retro nitpicks like that. Buendia, let's see, was pace? I feel like pace was overpowered in this game. Yeah, Buendia is going on an absolute run. And this is a counter-attack for the ages. Pookie gives him an over-the-top through ball to himself. Ah, no. First chance of the game. Firmino heads at home. They're just so good. They're just too good. This is unfair. The crowd actually, like, move towards the barrier and start squat and actually go wild when you score. Downwards header from Firmino, and that's just unsavable for Tim Krul. Is it just me, or I've completely forgotten what was overpowered? Like, obviously pace and that is always going to be crucial, but I don't remember, like, were finesse shots good? How were skill moves? Norwich aren't really the best team to showcase what was overpowered or good in the game, or what was actually new with the gameplay, but it does feel a little bit more smooth, like, compared to these days. Like, it's much more responsive. Oh, here we go, Timo Pukki with the chance, and Timo Pukki with the chance to score against Liverpool off the post. How's that not a pen? Come on, ref. That's a pen these days with VAR. I think this was one of the first seasons that Premier League used VAR, and it became one of like the major talking points, and there was always controversy surrounding it like there is nowadays, but it still begs the question if it will ever be added into a FIFA in the future. Come on, just like in Volta, I at least need to score one goal, but I need to lock in because Liverpool are just, oh my god, we've given them straight back. This is Todd Cantwell. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Timo Pukki. Oh, Pookie, he's going to get the ball back here. And he's just being an absolute menace right now. Duda can't find him. Duda, can he find Pookie? It's Pookie versus Van Dijk. Or Pookie versus Varane, actually. So I've decided to try and score a goal against prime Virgil van Dijk and Real Madrid Rafael Varane. Like, yeah, not one of my brightest ideas, but we'll give it a red hot crack. And Timo Pukki, first chance. Oh my god, look at all this space he's got to run onto. No one's marking him, and we're just rolling forward. But Varane cleans him. Oh my god, Liverpool. Ooh. Van Dijk taking the 25-yard free kick, quite audacious, but he tried to... Okay, that was terrible. Van Dijk, what are you doing, son? Go back to your day job. Passing, actually, you know what? Passing is a lot more inaccurate. You need to be pinpoint with your passing, or use like an elite level midfielder in order to actually find the pass, because it is a lot harder to master in this game. This is also back in the 3 substitute era. I know we only got rid of that rule recently, but I don't know. Is it just me, or are 5 subs way better? I don't know. Hot take, I think 5 subs is better for football in general, but that's just me. I don't think I would have had a sniff of scoring a goal if this game went on for another 3 hours. Oh no, Liverpool. There's a reason why they call him Tentacruel, people. What a save. Anyway, we take the L, Sir BCHD and Jurgen Klopp shaking hands after the game. I feel like that cutscene rarely happens nowadays too. Like, I don't see any managers interacting with each other. I don't know, that could be another removed feature that I've just discovered there, but it ends 1-0 and probably one of the most boring games of all time. I know, I provide all the entertainment here. You get top-notch gameplay on the BCHD channel, people. Oh, and this was also the introduction of the post-match interviews. So not only did you have the press conferences, but after a game, after a loss, this is where the player morale came in clutch, because you needed to make sure your players were happy even after you get battered 5-0. You needed to make sure you were on top of the post-game interviews and, you know, stroked a few egos and made sure everyone just remained in the green, remained content. FIFA 20 was all about the mental side of the game, boys, and oh, this was the introduction of one of the most broken features of all time in career mode. This like in-game screenshot of what happened, the report after the game. We don't have a glitch to showcase here, but you've seen some absolute classics over the years, like bodies contorting. Absolute nightmare fuel would pop up thanks to these like in-game screenshots the game would take. Now I've simulated to the end of the January transfer window just to check out what kind of deals went on and what signings happened over the two markets. We're in the midst of a relegation dogfight, but I just wanted to see what happened throughout this save. What kind of annoying CPU transfers were going on. Oh my god, remember Fisher? That wonder kid from like FIFA 13? That's a throwback. But the most expensive deal actually went, oh my god, Kante to Bayern Munich for £83.3 million. And you can start to see the effects of inflation and larger player prices. You had Insigne to Man City for 70 million. And that was unexpected. I feel like Varane always went to Liverpool in FIFA 20. It was just something in the code. Either Liverpool or Man City, you just always moved to a top Premier League team. And then Thiago, instead of joining Liverpool, ended up joining Man City for 51.7. Alderweireld finally departs Tottenham and joins Valencia. Jimenez joined Man City for 50 million. Lacazette left Arsenal for Atletico. Davinson Sanchez moved to Bayer Leverkusen. Danny Carvajal wanted to play for Piemonte Calcio. Oh, Allen actually, he ended up playing for Everton too. What happened to this guy? He ended up snaking them for Liverpool season too early. Tony Martial, who actually had a decent campaign this year, ended up signing for Bayern as they splashed 45 million on him. Mertens went to Dortmund. Iago Aspas to Inter. Belotti left Torino for Spain. We had Van de Beek moving to Barcelona. Yeah, he was wanted by a lot of top clubs and United ended up ruining him with injuries. But he would then link up with De Jong. Kramaric to PSG, which is a weird one. Chelsea bought Jamie Vardy for 38 million. This was pre-Todd Bowley. Roman Abramovich still had power over the club. Benzema moved to Leipzig for 37. That seems way too harsh. But you rarely see it nowadays. A one-club player, where Iñaki Williams, he still hasn't left Athletic Bilbao in real life, but in this save, he has departed to Chelsea for 36 mil, which doesn't really make sense considering they've already signed Jamie Vardy as a striker, so he's just not going to get game time. Oh my god, Chelsea were on a spending spree here. What a summer they're having here. This window just keeps on getting better and better, but Napoli were also making a lot of moves. Like, it has literally been just all the big clubs. And here we have a fake Brazilian player from their Serie A, Oswaldinato. Even though he doesn't have a 2D picture, that name just wins me over. Nelson Semedo back when he was good and an actual viable wingback. Higuain moved to PSG. Oh my god. It's like they're actively trying not to win the Champions League. Oh my god. Prime Josip Ilicic. Oh, the streets will never forget. These streets will never forget, and I don't use that term lightly. The absolute face of Atalanta at the time. So thanks to the career mode customization starting to open up and the manager edit options, this is where player career actually had a little bit of an impact, and it was useful. Obviously, you had some of the pre-order bonuses and the perk, like the +5 increase to all your attributes, but this is where it came in clutch, because even if you created your pro or you wanted to choose a real world player, which I'm just going to showcase here for the purposes of this video, pretty much what you could do, what was discovered, it wasn't advertised as an actual feature, but you could use real world players on the verge of retirement. They could have been a wonder kid. They could literally be any real world player or created pro. You could turn them into a manager with the click of a button, and it just makes it even more evident that this was a feature that they locked behind us, that they didn't add into the game until FIFA 23. So right now we're using Aguero. He ended up retiring a couple seasons after this, so I feel like it's fitting. So basically what you wanted to do, select your player, and you just go down right here to my actions and you just retire straight up. But unlike in previous versions of career mode, what would happen is that your manager would actually keep your face scan and it would actually translate over into manager career. I remember doing crazy experiments with this feature back in the day, but here we are. Aguero announced as new Parma manager, and there he is. It's not just some random generic face, it actually carries over. So that was a cool feature to play around with and have fun with. It took people a while to clock on, but once people found out, it just opened up career mode to so many new avenues, so many new experiments you could run. You could turn like Messi and Ronaldo into managers after they retire, but it could only be done through player career mode. So, FIFA 20 gets a few extra bonus points because of that. Otherwise, player career mode was still copy and paste, boring, and show no love. It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out, but I'm just here pointing out the bleeding obvious for the purposes of this deep dive retrospective. What were the boots of this era? What kind of vibes do we have? We had some exclusive Nike Neymar boots, a couple that carried over from FIFA 19, but nothing really bringing back the memories. Oh, we had the retro Hyper Venoms. Those are divine. Again, if you never went through an obsessive boot phase as a kid, or even now, if you're still a football boot geek right now, I applaud you. Oh, these boots actually went hard too. These are one of my favorite materials. The Vapor Elite Remastered. Oh, that was it. There's actually not too many to select from in the default game. But of course, you could always unlock more in the now forever vaulted catalog that you can't access unless you've got connection to the servers, which has been shut down for months now. This was actually the last proper FIFA game where it had a catalog of items to unlock through in-game currency, no microtransactions, and yeah, I miss it. It was just a cool little feature to have. I don't know why they got rid of the in-game shop. It's another item to add to the long list of removed features in the FIFA franchise. And just to put the icing on top of the cake, I can't explore any of the online features because you already know why. I've been seeing a lot of Ultimate Team like promo nostalgia from the random cards that EA dropped throughout its game cycle, but it didn't have a Euro mode or World Cup features. So so FIFA 20 Ultimate Team just wasn't my cup of tea, and I was busy doing my own career mode stuff, thinking about cooking up some new video ideas for YouTube. Oh, we had some of my favorite saves. We had my Brescia Road to Glory that I did the series on the channel. Oh, this is one of my favorites too, the Salford rebuild. This is actually a crack team. Like, look at this, guys. We have a few legends in here too. Oh, poor Skulls. This was one of my favorite rebuilds ever on the channel. I absolutely loved it. It will go down as one of the all-time greats. But I had the class of 92 actually playing for Salford City. Giggs, Paul Scholes, Beckham, all in this team. Oh no, I think Beckham retired. So we only had Giggsy and Skulls, but this team was absolutely gargantuan. I also built the best team ever. I went to 2050. This is when I started experimenting with mods, because you could pretty much break the time barrier and go all the way past the limit of career mode, the 15 season limit. We threw it out the window and I went to 2050, which is just completely broken. This save, I'm surprised my game hasn't crashed on me already, because getting to this stage, the loading times, like to get to one season turned out to be like an hour. Oh, the memories start flooding back now. And this is pretty much, they're all regens. They're all like fake players, all generated by the game, all Youth Academy faces. And that's back when the Youth Academy players had that generic kit in the 2D profile picture. Oh, that just icks me out. I don't like seeing it. It's weird. I remember simulating this. This took me hours. This took me ages. We're in November. Oh, we can go to 2051. I want to show off some of my old FIFA 20 saves and revisit them just to show you guys. I don't know what this is. Worst player of all time? Let's have a look. Let's see. What was I cooking up here? I had a 1-rated player called Junior. What was I thinking? Simp Junior from San Marino. Well, why? This was obviously an unfinished video idea for some reason that I did. What? A video that never made its way onto the channel, simulating the worst player of all time's career. 1 overall, 1 attribute in literally everything. He's got a 1,200 market value. Reconsider your life choices. Like, he is the most useless player of all time. What else was I doing down here? We had the Forgotten Wonder Kids. I was cooking up some crazy ideas on FIFA 20. And right here, oh my god, this team. Halilovic, Bakali, Zivkovic, Quintero, Januzaj. This is just a career mode diehard's wet dream. Oh, Turbe on the bench, Benzia. It keeps getting better, it keeps going. What the hell was this? Ronaldinho out of retirement? What was I... This just completely gone over my mind. Did I even make a video on this? Okay, we had Ronaldinho, for some reason, came out to play for Gymnasia, and Diego Maradona was the manager. Was I making this up, or did this actually happen in real life? And this is another thing I love about PC FIFA, is that you get the icon squad file. So I could put Ronaldinho into my career save, and no questions will be asked. This was actually the first FIFA where there was a glitch, and you could actually put icons into your career mode saves through the main menu, as you see right here with Ronaldinho in my game. And console players actually had had access to it. Everyone was going crazy, and then EA patched it out. They ruined everyone's fun and just killed the vibe, of course. Yeah, it was like a new Legends team that popped up in the rest of the world, and you could actually like click on their team and transfer all the players to different clubs throughout the game. It was a pretty cool feature that only lasted about a week or two before it got patched out and everyone was up in arms about it. It was one of these like exhibition teams that you could only use in kickoff. But believe me, that was a rare glimmer of hope. The rare good times that we had back in FIFA 20 career mode, because there weren't many. FIFA 20, I don't know, it's a weird one. It feels like something's missing. There's nothing that really sets it apart from anything besides Volta, and that was a flop. That was like, you know, you have fun for 10 minutes and don't touch it again. That's how like unsubstantial it was and underwhelming. People were expecting FIFA Street and they got, you know, the bar, they fell down very low, and EA didn't meet expectations. Like FIFA 19 had the freshness of the Champions League license. FIFA 18 had the World Cup mode, World Cup Ultimate Team, but FIFA 20 kind of just felt a little bit lifeless at times. So that is what is left of FIFA 20 in its current state, in its offline version, without connection to the servers. This is what's left. And I guess this is what people will remember it by when they eventually go back and visit the past. Let me know down in the comments below, where would you rank FIFA 20, the lockdown FIFA? Obviously, it had a good few elements to it, some new features, a new game mode here and there, some cool little nice changes to career mode, but nothing groundbreaking. Volta flopped massively. The gameplay was kind of like, it was okay. It wasn't anything crazy, but for many, it was a major letdown. But for some, people had some great memories playing pro clubs with mates, staying up all night in lockdown. FIFA 20, people were also expecting a lot more. It was, you know, not a lot to live up to from FIFA 19, but it was also the beginning of the end for some, as EA was starting to become a little bit more lazy, cutting corners, and franchise fatigue started to set in. But for me, I do have a lot of fond memories, a lot of hours clocked on this game, which I'm not proud of, but I was productive with it. I was making bangers, so I have an excuse. Going back and playing the gameplay actually feels a lot more smoother, so it gets a lot more criticism and slack than it deserves. But at the time and right now, we deserve better. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this FIFA 20 retro deep dive, make sure to drop it a like if you made it this far. Hit subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss out on any retro content coming to the channel. And what games do you want me to revisit next? Let me know in the comments below. What were some of your favorite memories, some of your favorite teams? I'd love to hear, and songs of course. I'd love to hear all your thoughts down there. So make sure to drop a follow on all my socials. Links will be down in the description below. And as always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the very next video. Bye bye. Let's go long shot free kick with Messi.